Good morning, everyone. And today we are doing an interview with an awesome, wonderful author. And she has written a book called Ease. And I have a lot of questions in my mind. I want to ask her a lot of questions because it's a beautiful name, beautiful concept, and a lot of other things. But before we, go and talk to her, I want to show you a quick video on this book. So we all are aware little bit about the book before we start the interview. So let me share my screen and we'll have a quick video run, and after that we'll start the session. And it's play. Stop share. We all saw the promo video of the book. One thing is for sure, this book talks about the food, because I could see a lot of food photographs. So let's know the author of the book. Let me introduce the author. Her name is Dr. Mythri Shankar. She's MBBS and MD from USA. Dr. Shankar is a nuclear medicine specialist in Bangalore with 25 years of clinical experience and expertise in her niche field across US and India. She works in her highly specialized niche of nuclear medicine, spanning nuclear cardiology, nuclear oncology, radiostopotherapy, and osteoporosis. Dr. Shankar wears many hats. She's an author. Yes, we are talking to her as an author. She's a TEDx speaker. Wow, you've been on TEDx stage. She's a national award-winning organic gardener. Wow, it's an awesome personality you want to know about. So you're a gardener also, and that's also organic gardener. She is armed with desire to practice evidence-based medicine, both in diagnostic and therapeutic area of modern medicine. She's a renowned women's health activist and entrepreneur. She's also IIM Bangalore alumni. So many hats, so many credentials. I'm very happy and proud to be, talking to you today. So, Dr. Shankar, first question I want to ask you: you are in a nuclear medicine, and what inspires you to write book related to foods? Because we'll talk more about book. It's not the food book, but something related to food. What inspires you to get into this domain?
Sure. Thank you, Kailash, and happy Sunday morning. Thank you to all of our viewers who have joined in. We kept it about 10 a.m. so that more people can join, especially from the US side also. It'll be too late for them otherwise. Nuclear medicine is a subject which is imaging the functions of the body at a cellular level, and the immediate effects of anything lifestyle related. And food is an integral part of lifestyle. Food, be it exercise, sleep, stress, other addictive substances like tobacco, nicotine, things like that, and the positive psychology effects in the brain. This is what nuclear medicine actually looks at on an everyday basis. This is what we do. We do heart scans to look at the effect of stress in the heart. We do cancer scans to look at how far PET-CT scans it has spread. We have about 40-50 different types of organ-specific scans. And diet is a very important factor before we, give patient instructions and such. So we are the gatekeepers to all these kind of lifestyle diseases like chronic diseases, diabetes, hypertension, heart disease, cancer, osteoporosis, and anything itis, inflammatory in nature, which could be irritating the body in some way, thyroiditis or gut IBD, inflammatory bowel disease, or arthritis or Alzheimer's. A lot of these have been related to the inflammatory burden in the body. And food is a major contributor to that. So that's when about 4 or 5 years ago, when I myself was kind of, bordering diabetes, pre-diabetic range, kind of the parts of the puzzle started to fit in. And this is what I need to be doing further to create awareness, educate people, emphasize on the importance of lifestyle, particularly food, in our lives, which contributes to majority of the preventable diseases out there. So it's really in our hands, and kind of that's how the book came about. Ease, so removing the dis part out of the disease part, calling it ease, so we can do whatever little bit is in our hands to take better care of ourselves and reduce the inflammation burden into the body.
So I'm amazed to know, it's a new information to me, and maybe a lot of our listeners also would be a new information, that what you're saying is hypertension, diabetes, even cancer is basically because of food habits we have. That's what you're saying. If I am
majority, there are multiple factors. So food, like I've explained in the book, what kind of foods contribute to which type of diseases. There is a long, it takes, I think, about 18 hours to read the book, and it's not possible to, do all, convey all the smaller details. But yes, food is a major, about 60 to 80% of the disease burden we see is food related. And if we change our food habits, we can really do good to ourselves and also around us.
So this is one information for the listeners who are listening live, or maybe you're listening to recordings later on in the future. What I'm saying, what I'm understanding is, if you have some disease, you can actually correct through food. And how do you correct it is go and buy this book, read it, and you'll get to know in the detail. Now I want to go to the next question, Dr. Mythri. I want to know how you came up with the name called Ease. It's a beautiful name. And in the name itself gives us easiness, wow. So how do you came up with the beautiful name of the book?
We had a few things in mind, something which would be healing or helping correct diseases, prevent diseases, and something which could be very easily understood and easily read also. And it was kind of removing the disease element in so it just seemed to fit in nicely. And a lot of this, the compilation of this is also very easy to read, and removing the disease part of the ease. So I thought it was like making sense to kind of bring it in.
Yeah, so it's a beautiful name. I also like the name. Being a publisher, being lucky to got to know that, what is the name. But, you see that this ease, your body is in disease, means that it is losing its ease. And she's telling how to get back the ease in the body. That's a powerful thing. And just be easy, your life will be simple. Now, I want to know, ma'am, you do a lot of seminars, you talk to a lot of places, and I know a lot of seminars are happening in October too for you on talking on similar subject. And you've been doing this for a long time. But what inspired you to compile this as a book? Because you've been spreading this knowledge, you have a foundation also, but we'll talk on the foundation a little bit later. But I want to know why book? What inspired you to write as a book to this entire knowledge?
Sure. Yeah, I think, see, I've been in this healthcare or sickness care, if you will, for past 27, 28 years now. Both in the US and in India now for the most recent years. And there are two things which I felt about the information out there. It is rather lacking the right information in the right context. It's either incorrect information or inadequate information. It's either there but not sufficient. Even whatever information is there, it's more catering towards promoting a product or selling a service, or very profit or gain oriented, not so much patient specific. And even the international standards, be it the American College of Lifestyle Medicine or the International College, both on the UK and the US kind of side, they are all very Western population dependent, not so much to the Indian context of the scenario, because our lifestyle is different. Our food, our habits, our culture, what we grow here for example, most of the books out there talk about kale and broccoli. Nothing of that grows here, or even if it is, it's exorbitant, not easily available to our people. So eating local foods, growing locally, organically is very important. And I'm a gardener myself, so understanding that. And in the book, in one of the chapters, we talk about 20 to 30 different greens, which are leafy vegetables, which are extremely healthy with phytonutrients, can help prevent cancer, help healing. These kind of things, knowledge about this is definitely lacking. So I started making my notes and compiling things for myself and my friends, and it just made sense for it to be made available, because my own patients come and ask, and as a physician, I don't really have the bandwidth in terms of time to sit and explain these things, in a half an hour consultation slot. So it at some point I felt, this needed, there was a definite need for this, not just my patients, for health coaches who would further this cause and help the patients do these kind of what I call a skill power building in terms of what to cook, what to buy, reading a label, understanding the micro and the macro ingredients, what they can grow themselves. There's a lot to it. There are 4 chapters dedicated to food. And also to the doctors whom I work with, we ourselves are not really trained in some of these aspects, at least. So they can understand and further it with their patients, and kind of, further the cause of making these kind of changes, especially if they are dealing with patients with diabetes, which is majorly food related. Both sugar and fat can contribute to this, and what kind of fats, what kind of oils to use in the context of India, the fat matrix, which is in the book. Millets, for example, we just talk about millet is healthy. Not all millets are good for diabetics. So I at some point I went on the the continuous glucose monitoring patch myself. So I was able to experiment with different millets. We have about 8 to 9 different millets, and only about 3 or 4 of them are really, really good. They are almost equally good as oats or quinoa, which is, in the Western context, more popular and used for quite a bit. So a lot of correlations like this, which is lacking in the Indian context, needed to be compiled, brought in together, and made available in one single book, easy for, like a reckoner or a reference for anybody, patients, doctors, health coaches, anybody who's interested in bettering their own health.
Awesome. I just want to add to all the listeners right now is what excites me, when I was reading this book as a common man, as a normal Indian, is 3 important factors about Dr. Shankar's conviction on this topic. Number 1 is I really like that she's a doctor. She's pushing us to eat right. For us it's very easy to prescribe medicines, and she would do if it is necessary. But she's saying how can you prevent? And it's a very noble way of looking at things. And She wants to cure us from the root, and that's why she's doing it. Second thing, she experiments herself. She said she put a patch on her shoulder, and she tried a couple of different millets, and she saw the result. And she's experimenting on herself. Before she's saying to someone else, she's trying herself. And third is she's growing in her garden. So she's growing certain vegetables in her garden. She lives by example. She follows what she's saying. It's just not the knowledge. And most important is, if you go and read any article on internet about food, they'll be talking about broccolis and avocados and olive oils, and which are not native Indian. So you need someone to tell us, for me, Moongfali ka tel is better ki sunflower oil. Let's be more Indianized. And she's done a wonderful job in that way. So you should go and definitely read this book to get detailed, in-depth information. So I want to know one more thing. I want to repeat this in a small sentence, saying that who can read this book? Who can get benefited out of this book?
Yeah. Actually, it took me about 3 years of research, Kailash. I've read about, I think, 300, 400 books from all top leading specialists, doctors across the globe. So it's whatever worked for me. And those were, in a way, I was lucky because those were COVID times. We were all kind of trying to do things differently. We got a lot of time to spend from home and do these kind of experiments. And having lived in the US half my life and back now in India half my life, it was rather organic for me to make those connects, this instead of that, and that kind of a thing. So I wrote it with that kind of global appeal to Indians across the globe. So what is available here or what is available, not available there, kind of being cost effective. So this is definitely a book for anybody who is interested in taking care of health, being healthy, avoiding diseases. It could be the patient themselves or just normal people who don't want to become patients or get these kind of diseases, or the caregiving system around patients. It could be their caregivers, family member, or health coaches like a nutritionist or a chef or a dietitian or a fitness coach or a yoga therapist. Anybody who's involved, there's an entire chapter on yoga. Anybody who's involved in taking care of the patient, stress management specialists, who kind of bridge that gap. And doctors in different specialities who deal with these lifestyle disorders, cardiologists, endocrinologists with thyroid and diabetes, cardiologists take care of heart disease, hypertension, heart attacks, bypass, stenting, all this kind of thing comes there. Endocrinologists deal with the thyroid problems, diabetes, again, all very food related. And cancer specialists, of course, oncologists. It could be surgical oncologists who cut and remove the cancer, or medical oncologists who can give chemotherapy and heal, regress, make the cancer size shrink. It could be radiation oncologists who use radiation to kind of burn the cancer tumor cells. Anybody in that space. And I'm happy that 3 top specialists in all these fields, Padma Shri, Padma Bhushan, have also reviewed the book, and it's gone on the back page of the book. Dr. Devi Shetty and Dr. Gopinath and Dr. Amrish Mittal and many others have reviewed it across 3 or 4 countries, US, UK, Australia, Canada. And also felt that it was bringing everything together. And I think this would be like the basic reference to most of the health coaches out there. Health coaching is becoming recognized more and more, very relevant, the kind of hand-holding needed to the patient on an everyday basis for at least 2 to 3 months, till that kind of awareness sets in and they build these kind of skills. See, willpower is, it's easy to preach, and it's the control of the mind, what to do right and to what not to do, make those choices. But it is the skill power which is learned and acquired by us, which makes us do those things in the long run, make those food things still taste tasty without the oil, without the sugar. Make it as crispy, or try to grow those kind of greens which are equally nutritious, enough plant protein or calcium, whatever is needed, to make it equal to the other alternatives, the unhealthy alternatives. Long term, to make it sustainable, satisfying, satiating, that is the key. And there is an entire chapter on how to do these develop these good habits, one habit at a time, one small step at a time, not which will happen over a course of time, not overnight. So even if they can dedicate 2 pages per day, within 3 months, the book would be covered, and they would really be well equipped to make those kind of changes, either for themselves or for their patients. So that's what the book is about. And I think anybody in this space would want to get better with health would benefit from the book.
So let me also share my feedback. When I read this book, it is written in a very simple language, where even if it does not come from the medical background, you can easily understand that. There are a lot of scans are given, but if you are from a medical practitioner, you can also put detailed and in-depth understanding of the book. So it's for everyone. I have personally recommended this book to around 22 family members, far-off family members and friends who have someone suffering from lifestyle disease like hypertension or diabetes or heart disease, cardiac issues. So if you know someone in your family who had this kind of issue, it is a must book for you. And more importantly, I have suggested to my one or two, I gifted and suggested to few people, because they believe it's a hereditary disease. Yes, there is an element of hereditary, but you can prevent a lot of things if you are you have a right information. So it's a must read. If you think that these diseases are running in the blood through the parents, no, it is majorly contributed through the food. So ma'am, I have a next question for you. Which is your favorite chapter in the book?
Yeah, absolutely. I'll answer that question, but to go back to what you mentioned, the genes, that's another chapter. There's a lot of new research which has come up, Kailash. There's a new subject called epigenetics. They look at the genes and how environmental factors affect the genes. So genes are really not your destiny. For example, look at the BRCA gene in cancer. Not everybody has this gene, nor does everybody with the gene get cancer. So there is enough research to document that there are certain things which trigger these genes to turn into start growing continuously and turn into cancerous cells. So what contributes from the environment, those are called carcinogens, and food can be a major carcinogen. And there's an entire chapter on that in the book. That is very useful to patients who have already been diagnosed with cancer, to bring down the recurrences, because we do see, cancer is something which some of it can be cured, but there's a wide spectrum. There are simple ones, and there are really, hard, tough ones, which we don't know so much about still. We do see recurrences or relapses 5 years, 10 years, 25 years down the lane. And I myself treat cancers of thyroid, prostate, liver, neuroendocrine. We do this on an everyday basis. And it only gets harder and harder to control later down the lane. So it's very important to make these kind of small changes early on, especially if you have had been diagnosed with cancer, so you can reduce your risk of recurrence much early on. And I am very cautious to use the word reverse in the context of cancer, but it's because we are mainly talking about prevention and not recurrence, even early on, even before you get it for the first time. But diseases like diabetes, high blood pressure can be reversed. As in, if you've had this disease, right, you can, like, that's what I did. My hemoglobin A1C was 7.8, but with the right kind of food, we could actually reverse it, bring it back to normal without medications. So I think that's a very important message and interest point for people who are interested in reducing their medication load, even if they have been diagnosed with these. Why I mentioned this, because you asked me which is my first favorite chapter. My favorite chapter, I think, is, I don't remember the number, but it goes, it's called Limited Intelligence, Infinite Ignorance. Because I think what we don't know is a lot more than what we know, no matter how specialized you are, how deep your knowledge is in your specialty. Against nature's intelligence, it kind of dwarfs what we do. And in the book, I talk about, all the 6 pillars of lifestyle medicine, the specialty specific, disease specific, and towards the end, there are last 2 chapters, which is very spiritual, or I make these connections between traditional wisdom and modern medicine, which that's where we all fit in now, because a lot of these things we have known, especially coming in from an Indian background, be it the gut microbiota or the SIT concept now, which is causing gut dysbiosis, and now coming back into medical practice as fecal transplants and such. Or it could be fasting, the autophagy concept, which the Japanese got a Nobel Prize, but we've been practicing that at Ekadasi, or all over the world. Jews have it as Shabbat, Christians as retreat. Many cultures, the scientific background of that only we are able to now kind of validate or prove with science, but we already knew that. So I make about 20-30 correlations between these kind of already known traditional Indian wisdom. That's my favorite chapter, because I'm trying to bring in these things. Even for health coaches, for example, goal setting, there is a concept like making sankalpa in our, Havan Homa type of a setting. So that gave me a lot of, it was fun for me to go back and forth, bring in spirituality, the art of healing. We have the concept of Atiti Devo Bhava. So we want our patients to be guests, but not permanent ones. We want them to recover and, so I would say that is my favorite chapter. And the next chapter too, perhaps because we are also looking at bringing in integrated medicine. There are certain things which other verticals like, allopathy, or not just allopathy, Ayurveda or homeopathy, or many other sciences, traditional healing sciences, can work in a complementary way, in an integrated way. So at some point, we have to join hands or seek, recognize the strength in each other and know where allopathy has its limitations. I mean, undoubtedly, what modern medicine is doing is that's the star of the show, no doubt about it. We can, emergency care, being cancer, anything, that's the main. But there are small things sometimes, other things can help in too. So we need to recognize that and bridge those bridges. So I think these 2 was very nice and fun for me as an author to bring in these correlations. Most of the other part is science and knowledge and research, and it's there. So it was easy to put in their boxes. But my creative part, this is where I was able to have fun. Yeah.
Awesome. This is a wholesome book. So you don't only learn about food and allopathy. So it's also talking about, Vedic knowledge and ancient information. So it's a fun book. You'll love it when you read it. Now I want to, share quickly information with everyone, how they can buy in India or internationally this book. So if you're excited to listen to us by now and you think this is a book you want to read, So I'm sharing the link in the chat box. And if you're listening this on recording later on in the future, you can find the link in the description box. And you can go and order your book from these links and get yourself, more healthier. Well, I want to move on to a little different direction of your personality, and I want to know a little bit about the Green Foundation. What is TGFI, the Green Foundation, all about?
Yeah, it's a foundation based out of Bangalore, South Bangalore, and we have been mainly doing a lot of healthy, holistic, eco-friendly practices. We host workshops, we conduct a lot of wellness programs. Most of this happens on my weekend, my Sunday, or my time off during my meet. But it is all trying to bring in content of education, creating awareness, working with local artists and gardeners, and bridging that gap between what I as a doctor do and what is actually the need in the public, real grassroots level, addressing issues which can be solved by educating and creating awareness.
Awesome. So if you're in Bangalore, you may also sometime attend this event of events happening in the Green Foundation. So I want participants to ask any question. You can type in the chat box. I'll ask this question behalf of you to Dr. Shankar. Feel free. I have one more question till the time you're typing in. What's next? What is a path forward for you after the book is launched? It is doing wonderfully internationally. It has also hit the #1 bestseller mark. Last week I was seeing that, and a lot of positive response we are getting. So what's next? What's the path forward for you now?
Yeah. Thank you for that, Kailash. I think the book has, when I was surprised, it became a bestseller, and we ran short of copies. Amazon, it got sold out. I think the second set is coming in. So I think that's why you've also posted most of the links there. Either one or the other should be getting back the stock in soon, I think. I think the book is the prelude, or it's the basic step to a lot more things which we have to plan around it. This is just the information out there. Now we need to start walking the talk or creating programs. That's what my focus is next. We are going to have very disease-specific programs. For example, we are looking at what in the US is now being recognized as DIGMA, digitally integrated group medical appointments, just for cancer patients or heart disease patients. So it's easy for us to address 2025 patients in that specific context pool, and also they form a support group within themselves. They can learn better because these are all very skill building exercises. What cooks, what to cook, what to eat, how to sleep, how to exercise, which exercises are good for which kind of diseases, which asanas are good for, again, exercise. I know you're a fitness enthusiast by yourself. So it's cardio, muscle endurance, flexibility, balance. For example, patients who are in the more senior citizen, elderly category, if their bones are, the density of the bones is kind of weak, and they would need major focuses on fall prevention. So balancing becomes very important for them. If you are in the diabetic category, pre-diabetic category, building muscle, that is of primary importance. So, and weight loss too, because once you build muscle, weight could be hit, or any other kind of SPOC increases. There's a lot of data in the book about each different specific category of exercises. As a lifestyle medicine physician, we do fitness prescriptions, what category, how much, there is a whole science to that, and how much of what do you need to do to bring down this much level, this much of sugar or BP or whatever category. So it's very well documented. So incorporating those learnings into specific programs. So that is one thing which I think will be the main project going forward. Patients, any patient caregivers with these kind of diseases, and weight loss, that's a big thing, because weight is what is the number one precursor to most of these diseases. You control your basic metabolic index properly, half of them half your battle is won. Half of the metabolic syndrome parameters which we use to diagnose these diseases somehow automatically comes back to normal. So people who are trying to lose weight, or anybody in that context, we're going to have very specific programs which they can sign up and learn and do the things which need to be done, which is lifestyle modification or changes in their lifestyle, which will help them conquer or reverse or prevent or heal the diseases they have.
Awesome. So we are excited to know that you are ready to teach all of us to get healthier in the right way. If you have a question, please type in question. I want to know, ma'am, how can someone reach you, or how can people get information about you? How can they follow you so they know what programs are happening? And is there a way you want to give all of us to to reach you? Maybe a page to follow where we have updated information, whatever you're doing. What is the right way?
Yeah, sure. I think for the past 27 years, I think you put my name in there, it takes you to my LinkedIn page. That's how I've been known, at least in the nuclear medicine circuit. I think now as an author, my name should be popping up. We have a few social media handles. We have a YouTube channel, which is mainly a repository of videos of talks I have given or things which have actually happened, and just compiled those videos there. We don't aggressively go and try to promote ourselves, but it's there. The information is there for people who want to seek information. We have a Instagram channel where I kind of use it to walk the talk, healthy plates which we make, any new cooking dishes, what I am actually doing, or people whom I interact with, we post snippets there. We are also on Facebook, the Green Foundation India, because we host a lot of events. Most of them are free, and we do this on a Sunday evening. We call artists and we kind of sponsor the Khana Pina Vagaira. I'll give this space. It's a huge garden space, which won a national award. So we kind of promote those kind of activities at the Green Hub. That's under Facebook. And going forward with the new programs which are coming up, we have a website. It's called the greenfoundationindia.org, and we will be posting all these programs, and then maybe linking it up to all of our other verticals as well. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So let me share. So if you really want to be everywhere in better, you just go and follow this website, the Green India, the Green Foundation India.org. It is also given in the description box. All the social handles and buying links and everything is available on this website. So this could be a one place where you can, if you want to get in touch with Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all the links are given on the website. So website is a right way to get in touch. Now I have we'll be finishing in another 2-3 minutes, 4 minutes. I have one last question from you, Dr. Shankar, that life is never finished. Giving gratitude to few people, without them, you are incomplete. And I'm not only talking about book, because book is, one part of your life which you have written in the book, but on the digital media, I want to, openly, give gratitude to few people who are important to your life, and they contributed a lot in your life. And into book too.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure. Actually, the book, one of the pillars in the book is positive psychology. And in positive psychology, we talk about PERMA, that's an entire chapter. And being thankful and being grateful, that itself secretes oxytocin and serotonin and these kind of what we call as happy hormones, which also contribute to our health in a very positive way. I personally, my first page in the book is dedication to whom all I am thankful for, which is my husband, of course. He's my rock. I think he's logged in from the other room. If he is there, thanks, honey. And my parents, my two sons who have constantly challenged me, whatever I cook healthy, they don't like, or so I only get challenged to make it in a better way for them. Sneak in some vegetables in terms of palak, in the atta itself, or use the air fryer to make things crispy, or bake samosas instead of bread. Lot of things. So it's definitely with them, and my mom and my dad and my in-laws too. And thanks to you, Kailash, for hosting this, and Wings Publications, who made it so much simpler. It was, wanting to write a book is not an easy task. So coming up with it, kind of hand-holding it through the entire process. I think it's very important to connect with the right publishers. And all of my viewers today, I think even on a Sunday morning, a few people have joined. So thanks to everybody who has come in.
Thank you very much, Dr. Shankar, for trusting us as a Wings publication. I would like to thank everyone to join in the morning. Sunday is a time when people love to sleep, but I know that you wanted to learn, you wanted to support the cause Dr. Shankar is doing, and you all are present here. Thank you very much to be here, to hear with us from last 40 minutes, listening to us. And I would like to thank Dr. Shankar from bottom of my heart for coming up with this awesome book, which is a need of the hour. And I've been asking the questions as an host and as a publisher, but I have one more question. Is there? So there's a question. This is for strength training. And I think I missed the question. So strength training is important for pre-diabetic beside walking. So would you like to answer that question?
Yeah, definitely. See, I think there's a lot of new information which has come out recently. The twin hypothesis, how a paradigm shift in how we are starting to look at diabetes. Before, we were all thinking most of the textbooks pre 2020, it's all about sugar control and carb intake and stuff like that. But now it's very clear that it's not just the sugar; it's also the fat. The small tiny fat cells in the pancreas and the liver, they are also very important in controlling the insulin levels of the body, and therefore it's very important to bring down fat content in the body, which translates to the BMI, the body mass index. And how do you bring down BMI? By reducing your weight. And for that, strength training is a very, very important factor for diabetics, for postmenopausal type of context type of women, because it helps in balance, it helps in bone health, and especially for diabetics, when you have muscle increases, it amps your metabolic rate minimum 10%. So not only are you losing weight when you exercise, you continuously burn calories or lose weight throughout the day, 10% extra. That is so much more significant, and it contributes big time in terms of weight loss than just doing some hardcore HIIT exercises for half an hour, or that short time period in the day. By building muscle, you continuously spend that throughout the day, 24 hours. So even without you knowing, You are burning glucose. It is helping you keep your sugar levels down. So once your sugar levels are down, you're not even crossing the mark, which puts you in the diabetic category, right? So strength training is very, very important. And walking is pretty much cardio. So do some warm up before and after, stretching and cool down later. But strength training for at least 2 days at the categories, the amount you need to do, all that is listed in the book. It's an entire chapter. The American College of Sports Medicine and the exercise is medicine itself. That's a huge movement going on the UK. They have a website for themselves. All the details are there. And I think definitely strength training, muscle building and endurance is key.
So even if you are joining a gym, please don't only walk on the treadmill, go and lift some weights too. It will make you more healthier and make you more younger.
And I think Kailash is the best person. I think he has a book on fitness. So
I started lifting weights because one day I was reading a study which says the percentage, every age group has a percentage muscles in the body. So if you maintain your muscles, and with age, you're going to reduce, your body is going to lose muscles. So if you maintain the muscle, you will be forever young. And I always wanted to be young. So I thought, let's, get into
Yeah, absolutely. There is a new, when we did MBBS, this disease called sarcopenia or osteopenia was not existent. But now with the recent sedentary lifestyle setting in, how man has evolved, he used to walk on 4 legs, he became straight, and now he's again going back to kind of, that's the charts we see, right? So exercise, and muscle is one tissue in the body which can be regrown. Like for example, if you lose heart muscle, it can never be grown back. That is a different type of a muscle. But the skeletal muscles, you can always train. You can, no matter how old you are. And it's even more important to keep that muscle strength later on, because sarcopenia is a disease which is affecting the elderly. They lose muscle, they start getting senile. So it's very, very important to keep the muscle strength.
Eat well and exercise well and sleep well. Have no stress. That's the simplest thing what I learned from Dr. Shankar while discussion of a lot of two important things I want to share with, as a publisher, I had to have a lot of, freedom to ask questions pre-book launch. Two important things which I learned from her is one, eat well, exercise well, and sleep well. Have less stress. It'll make you healthy. Second thing she taught me in the process of book writing discussions we used to have is, anything is sustainable is important, and sustainability comes from 3 things. One is it should not be expensive. So if I tell you to eat avocados every day and olive oils, and so we need something which is seasonal, which is available. So should not be expensive, should be easy to cook, and should be available in a half a kilometer, 1 kilometer range. And if you have 3 things in your food item, your diet, it is a wonderful diet because it will be sustainable. Do things which you can sustain for longer time, and that's what is called lifestyle, end of the day. So wonderful learnings I had, wonderful learnings we all had today listening to her, and we all will follow you on your website, on the channels, and wherever we get a chance to listen to you more, we'll keep listening. And I would like to thank everyone for joining in, having a lot of discussions, and most important, I would like to thank Dr. Mythri Shankar for today sharing a lot of things, writing a wonderful book which would change and give a lot of years in life of a lot of people, and it's a noble cause. Thank you very much, Dr. Shankar, for doing it. Thank you very much.
Yeah, thank you, Kailash. Actually, the book, one of the chapters also has these cheat sheets, we call it. How to make, usually the Indian salad, what do you eat? That's a very common thing. So there are cheat sheets on how to make salads, how to make soups, how to replace, how to plan your menu, very simple ways where you can make things easy with ease. So, yeah. Thank you.
Okay. So go and read the book, and it will be difficult for all of you to, listen, because if she speaks the book, it will be around 20-22 hours of YouTube.
That's true.
In the future for sure, but right now read the book because you'll digest more. And thank you, ma'am, for getting time from your busy schedule and speaking to all of us. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Kailash.
Thank you, Dr. Shankar. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.